Today I'm going to talk about psychopathy, a psychopath in general, not any one person. I'm going to talk about a mentality that exists probably in your life, in your community, and in America, and how we defeat it. Take a look on the other side. Not that many people hear the word or are that familiar with psychopathy, the science around psychopaths. We hear narcissism a lot more. We're learning to understand, the emergence of personality disorders and this kind of thing. Psychopathy is even more. It's everything a narcissist could be in another layer or two. And I've seen it, and I've seen it in a lot of ways. I've seen it in individual people. I've seen it in collective energy, in groups of people. And I've seen it in American systems in a way. And as much to say that, I'm saying this with love for all of those things. And psychopathy is really a mindset. So while I want to help people individually, take on the bully, the narcissist, even a psychopathic behavior in your life, I also want to talk about a way to defeat it is really in the mindset, in the psychology of it all. And that's what it is about. So psychopathy, I've seen it in our systems, right? And what I'm talking about is this vast unfairness. When things are unfair and people lie, and they lie in the name of a cause, and really don't let any space in. In other words, there's an old expression, judge, jury, and executioner, meaning one person is playing all those roles. Who presents, that's the mindset. They present themselves as the judge, the jury, and the executioner, as if they have three levels of responsibility. And that's why, even in the American system and everywhere, we really have, like, each person has one level of responsibility. We don't have tyrants, per se, making decisions. And I believe, the understanding of this mindset, of this psychology, goes beyond Donald Trump or Kamala Harris. We can live with either. I'm talking about one America. I'm a person talking about one America, right? That what we really have to understand even better is that mindset that's tearing us down. And that mindset is ensconced in a selfishness, okay? So, what is a psychopathic mindset is something that takes all the argument, all the energy out of the situation. So you're left as a reasonable person with about 2%. You want to make your case, you want to make your statement, but there's nothing there. And the person, especially if they're in some kind of authority, has put you in a vast disadvantage, to what's going on. So I promise to talk about how we defeat this, right? But I want us to understand the problem, in America now, it's not as much one side or another, it's unfairness. And so the ideal must be fairness. If America doesn't at root stand for fairness, liberty and justice for all and these kind of things, then we're not standing for anything. And that's our real issue. I first saw it, and just generally I say, in a divorce, in our legal system, right? And there I see, people making absurd decisions as they relate to children and families, and who really don't care about your children, who are operating more on an ideology. That's one example, okay? And I'm saying it's within our systems that people who get in positions of power believe they're entitled to make decisions. And the start of the antidote in a general sense is fairness. Just be fair. Hear both sides, weigh the facts and information, and make decisions on what's right and what's fair. And we mostly know that. Juries are supposed to be 12-0 in a criminal sense. In a civil sense, it's 50, or it could be 99 out of 12 or 10 out of 12. But it's like most of us know, aim for most. The common sense and with information shared the way it is these days, most of us are looking at the same information and can make reasonable facts if we give ourselves a chance. So the way to defeat the psychopathic, if you have a bully in your life, I'll start there. If you have psychopathic energy in your life, what I'm getting at, the way to defeat it is first of all to say to yourself, this is an opportunity. Okay, it's a blessing, because when you're dealing with such painful unfairness, it's going to give you an opportunity to become a much different person. You know, you're kind of this superficial, we all have this kind of surface level understanding. Well, this is going to push you deeper, and you're going to have to find strengths and understandings that you didn't know you had. And this is where our coaching, training, and mediation comes in, because what I'm talking about is finding your purpose. Okay, and that's kind of the opportunity of this psychopathic energy that's so unfair, is that the people, the societal champions, those we're working with and starting to train, you know, they're going to understand this situation in a much deeper way. What's going to happen is you're going to find a much deeper level of strength, a much greater level of understanding to look at people and situations. And so the way you defeat it is to say, I'm going into my purpose now. I'm finding out who I really am, not when I'm just on a surface level situation with school, family, church, whatever it be. I'm having to go in and really find out who I am, because nobody's going to rescue you necessarily from psychopathic or extreme narcissistic energy. You've been put in a really tough situation. And so the blessing is you say, I'm going to grow into a much different person out of this. And this is where our coaching, training, and mediation specializes, because I know this stuff inside and out, and I know how to defeat it. And it's about developing your purpose and realizing you're going to gain a much greater understanding, and your life is going to go on a different level. It may be a painful one. It could well be a hard one. I'm not going to say that it's easy. What I'm saying is your life's going to get onto a much different level out of this situation, and you're going to become one of the people, you know, in a crowd of 1,000 who can speak clearly and eloquently and assertively for what should happen. You're not someone who's going to follow the crowd out of this situation. So the way to defeat a psychopath could be in your city, your neighborhood, anywhere around you, is to develop purpose and to develop a calmness about how you go about things. And again, this is where our training, coaching, and mediation is necessary to help people understand this psychology, because this psychology is out there, whether you want it to be or not. There are people who are going to grab things from you, who are going to act unfairly, and these people can be in positions of power. They're going to put you at a disadvantage. So it's essential. Talk about essential services. That's what I'd say our Quick Start Coaching and other options are when you go to the website, is essential for you to learn the psychology and learn how to speak appropriately. Because when you're dealing with someone who's got an uneven advantage and maybe in a position of power, you can't get angry. You have to be, above them in the sense that you're being intelligent, you're being calm. You're respecting them as an entity, whether they're right or not. And this is key. I'm not for ripping up the Constitution, overturning the system. I'm for recognizing we have a system and it has to improve. So how do you become that person who can take some of the slings and arrows out of you, the figurative slings and arrows, and stand for what's right and appropriate? And this is the work we do. So it's about your purpose, and we'll talk more.